It is another beautiful morning with the sun streaming in onto my father's painting. On days like this, I can't wait to get up and go downstairs.
How are you?
Really good, and you?
Very good, thank you.
Excellent.
Yeah, good, and he's happy as he is in the morning.
Everybody's happy. He is always cheerful in the morning. Right, I'm going to see if I need to do another coat of the little bedside table. I don't know if you remember that it was the really, really ugly one before that was half painted.
Yeah. It's still a little bit ugly.
A whole day of painting.
Well, look, the painting is lovely. The color, I like the color, but it just needs something. Look, here, you can see that it was something.
Yeah, Philip's going to paint something.
Oh,
so we don't know what yet. It needs a bit of va-va-voom.
Yeah.
I
It
agree.
needs a little bit of love.
It does have a marble top, so that'll help a little bit.
Yes. Yeah.
Nothing a
But
bit
it
of
needs
marble
something
won't help.
here. It's too empty. I feel
Yeah, I
it.
agree with you. You feel it?
I feel it.
In your soul?
Not that deep, but yeah, I feel it.
I've decided to put a little bit of wave into my hair. In this weather, it'll last approximately half an hour. But I thought maybe just a tiny bit will be left tomorrow for when we go to Venice. That's the plan anyway.
That'd be lovely.
Yeah, just a little bit of glamour. And this is how I always dry my hair. So whilst I'm doing each section of hair, I'm reading with the reading stand that Philip got me, which is To My Otter Half. I use it every time I dry my hair, Philip.
I know.
I love it. And I've just started a new book, The Ideal Museum, an art lover's dream collection. And it's going on the premise that the worst place to see paintings is generally museums, because you just rush through wanting to see absolutely everything and you end up not seeing anything in depth. So he's suggesting maybe it's a good idea to find out what you want to see and maybe look at one painting when you go to a museum. And I'm looking at this before going to Venice, and just really near the beginning, there's this beautiful painting I recognise straight away from the Accademia in Venice, but that you've never seen, Philip.
I don't think I have.
So
no.
we will go and see this. This is Carpaccio, and it's part of a series of paintings, a cycle about Saint Ursula.
So that name always cracks me up because I can only ever think of the dish.
Carpaccio. I know,
Yeah.
Carpaccio and Bellini. I mean,
Yes.
it's always food-based with the Italian painters. You're going to love this book, Philip, because what he does is he decides what would be the perfect museum. You can just invent your own perfect museum in your head and what you'd have where. He's made a room for reflection, and then he's placed the paintings that he would have in that room, and then he'll go through and explain why each of those paintings is in there. What objects would you have in your museum and why? And when we carry on thinking about Henriette and the objects that we put into the room, I think we should think about it in this way. I mean, it's just a small bedroom, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be expensive things. It doesn't have to be masterpieces. It can just be little objects from your own life and why they work together and what they mean to you.
There's not much room for conversation, I think.
What you're saying.
I'll see you downstairs.
Hey, what excitement is this?
Brussels sprouts and a black
Oh, I collected 3 yesterday, which I roasted yesterday for today. We can add more to the pile of black radish. I didn't know we had Brussels sprouts.
Yes, we have 2 plants left, and
Yes.
that's the one who's ready.
We'll eat that tonight.
Yeah, perfect.
Thank you.
And do you want some round lettuce?
Always.
Okay.
No, seriously, I love it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it's ready as well. So
Fabulous, thank you. It's just starting again for the year. This is great.
You don't need to go to the supermarket now.
Well, I do want potatoes and we're completely out of potatoes.
well, we have some, but you have to do mashed potatoes with it because they're a little smushy.
Actually, we wanted mash. Genuinely, we wanted mashed
Then
potatoes.
We have plenty of potatoes.
Are you
A
serious?
lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I would love some potatoes. Thank you.
I know you love me. No, you love me.
I think that it's worse watching you today because it looks so
Everybody, are you
warming.
enjoying this?
It is a spectator sport, the meals at the
Should I
moment.
do a sound or should I not do a sound?
How do you slurp?
I should be the spoon up to me, right? Not me to the spoon. I feel so posh now. I cannot eat my soup. And as usual, my hair is left.
I hope that everyone else is enjoying watching your lunch as much as Philip and I enjoy it now that we're doing our intermittent fasting.
I think people prefer the weather.
Dining with
weather
Matty and
reports.
Are you looking at skirting boards for the new room? So how tall is it?
So you've got 78 or you've got 148.
Bigger the better. Yeah.
If you look at the one that's there now, it's
Yeah, the old
fairly
rooms have got quite high skirting.
You're going to have to undercoat this with your selected colour.
Thank you. Is it? Is it the thing? Yes, it is. Oh my goodness. I was hoping against hope that this would arrive. It's like
He was saying hi from the window.
Oh.
You're
the travel kettle in the nick of time, ready to go tomorrow. Oh, look at this.
just for one.
Seems very small, doesn't it? But wait. I
Gonna
just
wait.
Turn it first. Turn it.
Oh, I was turning it the wrong way and looking right at it.
Wow.
Not much boiling water. It's plastic.
Look, it's really, it's
so
for me.
cool.
It's because you don't really have tea or coffee. This is amazing. This is life-changing because I don't think there's tea and coffee making facilities in the place that we're going to. We've stayed there before and I don't remember there being a kettle in the room. So look what it comes with. Universal adapter.
Oh,
That's
Wow.
great.
Okay, very happy right now. By the way, this is not sponsored. I just needed a travel kettle. I don't even know who makes it. Just
I used to have one of these in my backpack when I was a traveler. Yeah,
bringing back
I think we
memories.
saw it in the
Yeah, I
in
see
the
that.
office. I have it as a memory.
That is cool, isn't it? You have to admit, that is pretty cool. You look like Lancelot when he's looking at a new thing.
Is it like a velvet pouch?
Yes.
Oh my god.
There we
The only
go.
person I know that needs to travel with a travel kettle.
Imagine the price of room service for just a cup of tea. Someone's still got to come all that
How many
way.
you have per day?
Exactly, 5 a day. I'm calling every 5 minutes.
I just find that astonishing. Monsieur Sophie's here.
Apparently the architect for the chapel has arrived and they're all out at the back courtyard looking at the fountain for the new Jardin à l'Anglaise. So they've started to just put the base together. Well, there it is. Sebastian and his colleague have put it all together so that we can actually talk about how it should be fitted into the English garden and how exactly it's going to be finished. I'm outside with the architect and the building firm and they've set up the fountain base that we got. There is, however, a problem. We all hate it. I'm not going to fudge this. Okay, we really don't like it. It looked fine on the internet when I got it. At the same time, it's going in a little hidden garden. The idea is that it gets hidden with a lot of moss and earth, and it's more just to keep the water in place. So it seems silly to be spending more money on replacing this when we have it. We just don't know what to do. The problem is we're thinking, oh, it'd be lovely to have lots of planting around it, like a little hidden garden, and that'll hide it quite a lot. But, of course, the concrete base is going to have to come beyond it. And so we can't plant at the base of it. So we then have to cover it with more earth and then plant here, in which case it will look more like a sunken pond. That's probably not a problem. This is our wonderful architect who has become completely indispensable to me, I have to say.
Regarde mon dessin.
It's a lot of...
Mon dessin est mieux.
Et on remonte avec du béton ici, là.
Et on revient
prendre la
avec du
partie
béton pour bloquer
Voilà.
le truc.
basse. Il y a un petit fond pour pouvoir faire l'étanchéité.
On revient comme ça, là, c'est
On vient
ça?
couler au fond. Tout le
Comme
fond,
ça.
ouais, tout le fond.
Donc là, j'ai du béton ici. Après, il faut remettre dessus un liner,
Étanchéité, voilà.
une étanchéité, hop, pour l'eau. Et après, dedans, je vais mettre,
Très beau.
voilà,
Et un poisson, peut-être.
just one. Bon. Si on met dessus de la végétation, il faut mettre par-dessus de la terre.
Terre végétale.
Yes. Alors, je mets dans la terre ici, et après, ça veut dire qu'en fait, on ne verra que ça après,
Oui.
hors sol.
So what are you debating?
So the thing the concrete he's putting around the fountain
Yes.
is only going to be about 10 centimeters. I think that's fine to show that we don't have to cover that with earth. It's only 10 centimeters. We can still plant next to it.
I think we need to be able to cover it with a bit of earth. Honestly, darling, I think that's going to make it look so much better. If it'll feel more overgrown. And I think that's what I want the garden to feel like, this sort of little
It's only 10
lost,
centimeters. You can
overgrown
still,
garden.
if it's only 10 centimeters, you can still have plants.
True, hedges that could go over it
They
a little
would
bit.
Still cover it.
Yeah.
We don't have to have it covered.
That's something we need to check
That's
with
what I
Davey
mean.
then.
Oui, on peut le laisser après le béton, on peut le faire légèrement de biais, hein, pire. Le faire ici, de manière de biais. Par contre, il n'y aura jamais d'herbe en périphérie parce que ça sec.
On pourra le faire, ça, faire un béton avec une pente.
Après, je pense, oui.
They're actually going to feather down
Yes.
so that actually we can have the earth going all the way up to it and you won't notice it. In fact, there's concrete underneath it.
Concrete here,
Yes,
here,
yes,
and then there here, like this.
perfect. And then the earth can go over the
and
top.
here, the ground with
Very nice flower. Perfect.
Okay?
I like that.
And you don't see concrete.
Parfait.
Mais je trouve que c'est beaucoup mieux.
Oui.
Because as much as possible, we're trying to give this impression of a hidden, secret, somewhat overgrown garden that's almost happened by accident or something that was abandoned a long time ago. That's the feel of that English garden, very, very natural. And so that's why we want the planting to be as close to this base as possible, plus it will hide it a bit. This is the fountain itself. Which I thought was a phoenix, and it's not a phoenix at all. A lot of people pointed out it is a pelican, which is a Christian symbol, and so actually quite fitting that it will be within
Slapping
sight.
its own chest or something.
Yes, to feed its young.
Yeah, with the blood.
Yes, that's right. So it will be overshadowed in the background by the chapel. I think it's quite fitting, though we didn't do it on purpose, I'll be completely honest. And this is the fountain that will be going in the middle of that basin. So it's a little bit darker in colour. Now they've been talking about toning down the colour of the base to match the colour of the fountain, which they're going to do. So they're going to age it to make it blend in as well. And this gentleman is preparing the quote for us to let us know how much it's going to cost. He is overseeing all of the work in the chapel as well. And Sebastian's still getting on with the chapel. Ça se passe bien? Et aujourd'hui, ou la semaine prochaine, vous commencez sur l'autre côté de la fondation?
Ben oui, parce qu'après, il va nous rester que le soubassement.
C'est dommage. Je n'aime pas le fait que vous allez finir un jour, vous ne serez plus là. J'aime beaucoup tous les jours aller voir ce qui se passe. Voilà. Et je pense qu'il y aura beaucoup d'autres choses. Le grand salon aussi, il y a beaucoup de travaux à faire avant qu'on puisse commencer. Mais oui, il y aura ça. Whilst they're still calculating the concrete base, Philip and I are wondering if this should be lifted up a little bit.
I'm wondering if the water level should maybe be about there.
I love the idea of the pelican just having its feet on the water.
That's what I'm thinking.
Really good idea. And it will make it just a little grander as well to have it
Yeah.
a tiny bit higher. So we need to ask for a base for that as well.
Raise it like, what, 10 centimetres or so?
Let's go find out what the water level would be. This is fabulous. We're actually going to put it inside so we can see what we think in terms of the proportions. Well, immediately it feels as though that's got to come up, doesn't it? Philippe disait que ce serait chouette si les pieds des pélicans étaient juste dans l'eau, juste toucher l'eau. Oui. You two thinking as one, dreaming the same dream.
Bon, il y a hors de l'eau des pattes, là. Pas dessus, j'ai hop, les pattes, et l'oiseau et son bec, là, tac. Voilà, on est là.
Oui, la patte juste à l'eau.
Voilà, juste
Oui.
là, tac.
It's starting to come together. So we're doing a dry fit of everything just to see how it looks in the hope that it doesn't topple over. Though if it does, it will destroy the base, which I suspect everyone will be very happy about. I haven't seen it together since we saw it at the auction house.
Yeah.
Remember, Philip? Okay, that's actually very sweet. You have to imagine water lilies. Are you imagining water lilies?
I am imagining all sorts of covering of
And that one fish.
La proportion est bien, là.
Oui.
Ça, il faut cacher ça, entre guillemets. Il faut,
Voilà,
il faut
cacher le bas.
Ça, c'est sympa, ça.
Yeah, it does need to lift a bit. Also, do you think that that finial is original to that fountain? Because I don't.
But it's what we have, so
It's what we've got, so it's what we'll use. No,
I
fine.
even
But
don't think that the base is original to that fountain.
I think the base might be, but I think not the top. Still, actually, when you see it together, it starts to make a lot more sense. If it's lifted just a little bit
Nothing
more.
goes together, but I think that's fine.
Yeah, for that garden, it's exactly right. The English garden. We couldn't do this in a French formal garden. But in a little wild garden, it'll be lovely. Keep this in your mind. I'm going to go over and show you where it's going. Behind the chapel, we have this new garden that we're in the middle of creating. And when you come through the hedge here, it will be just here. So you'll be able to see the chapel above the hedge, but there'll be a very tall hedge behind the fountain. And there's space for a little bench on either side of it. And then as much planting as possible. And that will all be cleaned as well. That's now part of what's going to be happening to the chapel. It's really not the time of year to show you. But this is this charming little room. I do love this room. There's flowers. I was not expecting flowers. You clever man, Davy, if you're watching. Are they hellebores that flower in winter? I think they are. I think they're hellebores. They are beautiful. Just near us. Look, we're hanging out by the flowers. Philip and Stephanie.
Oh,
beautiful.
I also can't quite believe how tall some of these hedges are.
I think we're going to start cutting them down this year so they start to thicken up at the base. We just spotted a flash of pink in the distance and we've come over. Oh my gosh, it's the cyclamen that were planted last year. They worked. Maybe it's because it is winter, but right now, Davey, I think your winter planting is my favourite. It's just so cheerful to see flowers in winter. Yes, more there. And hopefully they'll spread and enjoy themselves here. I think we should plant even more. I love them. Let's go back up past the hellebores again. Whilst we're here, I'm also asking for quotes for double glazing and new fascias on these windows up on the first floor, especially the first three right in front of us. This first window was Maria's room, and we've decorated that, so we would like to get a double glazed window all redone. The second one is the room Anne-Marie is currently working on at the moment, and the one next to that is its little bathroom. So they're going to give us a quote for those, and then if by some miracle we can afford to do more, then we'll carry on bit by bit and do the ones next to them, and eventually try to get all 7 of those windows from the first floor wing here finished. Now we've all come over to the chapel because the architect comes once a week to check on the work done so far, to tell me how many funds I can release, what's been finished and what still needs to be done. There you can see the finished concrete all in place on this side, and next week they're going to be doing the other side. That meeting was hours. I can't believe it. We've had the whole afternoon just looking at everything that was done in the chapel, deciding for the fountain, looking at the windows, talking actually about another bit of roof that has a leak just in one of the outbuildings, but it needs repairing. All of these things that have needed doing for so long, and I didn't really know who to use to do them. And now we've just got such great people on the job that we're trying to do as much as we can possibly afford to do. Having discovered that none of the ones we chose were in stock for a month, we've found new things which are even bigger. This is nearly 20 centimetres, so I think that's much better for the skirting anyway.
What were you saying at lunchtime? Bigger the better?
Bigger the better.
No, there was no pun intended. It was you saying...
No, it's actually genuinely true, yeah. For the skirting in an old house, it looks more in keeping. Yeah. That was a great meeting with the chapel restorers, but...
Long.
Yeah, but you haven't started painting the
I know.
little bedside table. And you can't start in the dark. Well, let's at least find out what you're painting. So we have to find the book of decorations or find inspiration.
I've never seen that book.
I'm telling you we have a book
I
on
believe you.
ornamentation.
I just don't know where it would be.
I'm going to run around and see if I can find it.
Sure.
I've come up to look at the design books in the attic, and annoyingly I can't find the one I want. But I have found one called Furniture, which I think is mainly about decorating, making painted furniture. I'll see if there's anything else I can take down for inspiration. So annoyed I can't find the book that I want. However, I found The Art of Stenciling, just in case it gives us some ideas for simple repeat patterns.
Sure.
This must be from the 80s or something. Furniture. And I just flicked through it in the back. There's actual sort of tracings of various flowers. There might be something there. There were some oak leaves I thought you might like.
I mean, it's not exactly what I had in mind.
No. But
They're there.
they're there, and you like
Oak leaves.
and you like bees, and that's a bee.
So you sent me to be
there's
positive.
that. This I think we can rule out.
Really? I think especially the face is lovely.
That's a big flower, but I think that's probably too big a design.
But I know.
This one.
How about we look online to see some of the...
No, I thought the oak leaves were rather nice. Actually, genuinely thought the oak leaves would go quite well.
I think they're not bad. It's not exactly what I had in mind, but
No.
also, as I'm not stenciling, I'm painting rather than stenciling, so I'm not sure how...
Useful.
Yeah, but we can always... We can try.
Okay. Online it is. Whilst Philip gets on with looking online to see if he can find anything that would look nice on there, I'm going to start packing, and also I've got a lot to sign before I leave. I have a lot of certificates to sign for the Dauphins and Dauphines of Lalande because they receive a limited edition copy of one of my father's paintings every year, and that comes with a certificate, and I have to sign the certificates before going. Honestly, I'm running around like a headless chicken today. I realise I'm turning into my mother. I get very anxious the day before a journey now, which she does and has always done, and I've laughed at her about it my whole life, and now I find myself doing the same thing. I find myself getting a bit agitated and not realising what it is, and then thinking, yes, journey tomorrow. That's what it is. If you're wondering what the noise in the background is, it's that. These are the prints that are going to be sent, and these are the certificates that I'm going to be signing. And each of these certificates gets one of these holograms, and these holograms match the number on their pair, and the pair goes on the back of the print. So that's the certificate of authenticity. Okay, last one. Then it's a fun bit. Stickers! One here, and we put the matching hologram on the back. Et voila! Just a few more to go, and I'll be ready to leave. We are definitely not going to starve tonight, Philip.
So making baked potatoes in the air fryer, which I've never done before. So of olive oil, salt, black pepper, garlic cubes.
What's garlic cube? We had garlic cubes?
I found it in the pantry, so
What on earth is that?
no clue, but I'm gonna have it tonight.
Garlic cubes. Okie dokie. Whilst Philip gets on with those baked potatoes, I'm starting the soup for the black radish. I've chopped up onion and garlic, and I'm just adding the black radish that I roasted last night. You know what? This is pretty much my favourite sight. I could really get used to this. You, an apron, cooking. Last night's meal was so delicious.
Thank you.
I don't know how we're going to top that. Are you individually pushing down each Brussels sprout to
I'm trying to.
perfectly brown?
Well, at first we're just going round, and I realised that none of them are actually turning.
Come.
I know, but I didn't want to dirty an old tool.
It goes in the dishwasher, darling.
That's true. I just didn't want to. You still have to individually do it, by the way.
Oh, I wouldn't dream of it any other way.
No, but that's what I'm saying. You still have to. I'm not sure this is saving any time.
We're saving so much time right now.
Are we?
Thank God I came in when I did. In the end, instead of a soup, I made a puree because I thought that would be more fun.
Oh, what you're saying it was on purpose.
Well, it started out by accident, but I could have added more liquid. But
That's
then
true.
I tasted it, it was so delicious, I thought I'd stick with it. Maybe I should just start with the 3. No? Oh, 4 it is? Yeah, I'll start with 3. And then we've got some parsley from the garden just to sprinkle over the top.
I'm so indirect, by the way. So polite. Maybe I should just start with 3.
There was a British way of saying, please remove a potato from my plate. Oh, excellently browned, may I say. You can see that someone has stood there individually browning. This looks excellent, darling.
Thank you. Well, I mean, the mash mush was your...
Mash mush.
Mash mush?
Yeah, but everything else is you.
You're welcome.